So nostalgia. Let's put that up.
Mhm.
Let's talk about nostalgia. Huh. What is it good for? Right? Nostalgia came up very, 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 very recently for me. That's why I wanted to put it on this topic of conversation. It started off as a wrestling conversation. And this individual is around my age. I'm 42. I want to say this person is like an even just 40, like right there. And watching, like a lot like me, watched wrestling his whole life. And he is he still lives in 1997 in his head. Everything
As do
as the what?
as do I.
Okay.
I get late '90s and early 2000s mixed
Yeah.
up very, very, very often.
There's a
But
very thin line between those years.
such good year, dude.
So
Nostalgia it runs my life. I'm not gonna hold you. When you sent me this shit, I was like, oh man, this shit gonna hit home. I don't like this.
well, this particular individual, for the record, there's nothing wrong with nostalgia, but the way
There
that this,
is.
there's to some degree, yeah, and we'll get into it. But
He talks about it.
who talks about it?
The video you sent me
Oh yeah. So I sent
talks
you a
about
video. I sent you a video that when I started thinking about nostalgia in general, because the conversation started where I started noticing that every time something happens on Raw or SmackDown or something, no matter what we're talking about, what Jay Uso did this, or Seth Rollins did this, or Roman Reigns did this, or Punk did this, or Cody did this, eventually he steers that some bitch right back to the motherfucking Attitude Era every fucking time.
it. Hmm.
And I said, didn't you grow up in the golden era? The Hogan, the Macho Man, the Steamboat, the $1 Million Man, like that kind of era. He said, yeah, but I was a kid around that era. As I got older, that
Yeah.
Attitude Era was something else. I said, but you also skipped over that new generation era. He's like, no. It was the Attitude Era. I said, so you didn't even like Ruthless Aggression? He said, it was all right. Cena, Batista, Randy Orton, I get it. But
I get it. It was cool.
that Attitude Era, though, I said,
Fair, though, in his defense, he was the
it
absolute target audience for that.
sure
He was
was.
he was that perfect age range where that is exactly who the target was.
Yeah, his age is his age is right between us. He's like right in the middle of our age
Mhm.
there. So he was right at the forefront of all that. So I asked him, I said, do you even enjoy watching wrestling now?
This is a good one because well, hold on, time out.
Go ahead.
Let me jump in here because I want to see if I get this right. He still watches wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
but it's never the same like it was then. But he
Word,
still can't stop
yeah,
watching it.
word for word is what it was.
Yes, I'm
Actually, the one word that he used that I think a lot of wrestling fans feel today is routine. It's part of his routine to watch
Mhm.
this shit, and that's very true. I feel like that sometimes too, where it's just like Monday. It's Monday. Do you know where AJ is? He's watching Monday Night Raw, and I think the saving grace for me, it's not for him. He still watches it live. The saving grace for me is we've now moved into a technological era where I don't have to see it on Monday.
Mm.
Before, if you missed it on Monday, you just missed it. You got to wait for the highlights to come on the next week's Raw. Last week on Monday Night Raw, and it gives you then it hits you with the opening.
The funny part is that the people that I watch it with now deliberately wait 3 hours
oh, so they could see the whole.
so they can skip the commercials.
There
So,
you
so
go.
they'll displace it deliberately so that they can just skip the commercials and
Displace it.
stuff. So they're not watching it live on purpose.
Hmm. That makes a lot of sense, actually. I gotta start doing that because these.
I mean, you don't watch it live anyway. You get to skip the shit.
No, for the most part, I don't anymore. I'm usually I'm kind of busy nowadays, but I asked him. I said, "Do you even have fun watching it now?" He said basically what you just said, and it made me think because I feel like a lot of wrestling fans, a lot of the older wrestling fans, I should say, um, they're still watching today's product through that lens.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really unfair for like a lot of people, for yourself included. For the people who do that, I think it's also unfair. I think you're missing out on a lot of what is fun. You can make comparisons and say, well, they don't do it like that anymore. We grew up in the Attitude Era, and the older people then looked at the Attitude Era like it was garbage. They were like, what is this with the titties and the cussing and the beer, and what the fuck is this? This isn't wrestling.
Well, it was their evolution. Like, I'm convinced that no one likes the evolution of the thing that you like.
Yes,
So
always.
right. So for us, like me in between and you,
yeah,
that guy, that was targeted to that was our becoming of age thing.
Yeah,
the titties
absolutely.
and all that's the
titties and all that.
And it's different. I mean, I saw my first pair of real breast at a wrestling event because the girl two seats in front of us, this was the show me your puppies time, turned around and flashed everybody. And
there it is.
I'm sitting there next to my mom, and I'm like, and my mom's just, and she just looks at me, she's like,
what are you gonna do?
I was allowed to look at breast. Like, it was the first time I've ever seen a pair of real human
Thank
boobs
you, Vince McMahon.
in front of, you know what I mean? So like,
yeah,
that was our evolution. But you got to imagine the people that are a few decades older than us who are old fashioned, who like the Hulk Hogan era, that era. There's clean cut, proud.
Well, that's the thing.
American wrestling. So when it changed and it pivoted, it's like, this is nasty. It happens every few decades.
The era before the golden era, that Bruno Sammartino kind of era, the one that preceded the Hulk Hogan, the Hulkamania thing, they looked at Hulkamania.
Oh yeah, it's every decade or two. Evolution happens.
Yeah. The Attitude Era looked at Ruthless Aggression and went, what the fuck are they doing? And Ruthless Aggression looked at PG Era and said, what the fuck are you doing?
Like, all these damn kids. It's like, what?
So we started having a conversation about the nostalgia of wrestling and how it changes your view and how it changes your perception of things. But then it got into like a more meta conversation about the whole ideology of nostalgia in the first place, which is why I sent you the video, because I think that particular video harped on some very interesting.
That video did exactly what the fucking, like, I was depressed by the time we stopped watching. I'm not even like making a joke. Like, I'm listening to the video and he hit that fucking Pokemon thing, bro. I instantly was like, fuck, I don't want to be at work. I want to be at home playing fucking card games again. You know what I mean? Like, but he nailed this video because it's exactly something that I personally had to come to terms with. There was a very bad part of my life with this in the between, I want to say 25 to about 30-ish, where I fucking hated life. I was like, dude, I remember being 10, 11, 12 and like, man, I can't wait to be an adult. And now I'm a fucking adult and I want to do nothing but just go back and be that kid again.
Yeah.
To fucking, with all those little commercials and the fucking Nickelodeon. I was like, dude, I gotta go back. There's things I didn't appreciate that I want to go watch. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, of course.
And it's the reason why even today when I'm at work, 95% of because I can wear a headset while I'm at work and do my work. So
that's good.
I'm listening to Final Fantasy 11 music.
There you go.
Just the OST. I spent and that it keeps me calm because I'm doing something I don't want to like, what I don't like, but I'm distracting myself by listening something nostalgic. So when I watch this, I'm like, dude, this fucking, I got over this, and now I'm like re-traumatizing myself. Like, I want to fucking sucks, dude.
But there's something psychologically that happens in the head that I thought the video really harped on that was really good. And as a matter of fact, I might throw, you know what, just for the sake of everybody who's listening to this, I'm going to throw the link to that video in the description so you guys can So you guys can check out the video for
And it's
yourself.
not
I'm
long.
going to do
It's like
that.
8 minutes or
No,
something.
it's like 8 minutes. Yeah, it's not a long video, but I really feel like he hits on a lot of great points. Paramount of which the most important part, and I think this is where nostalgia is a negative thing because there's a lot of positives to nostalgia, but there's that one negative that I feel like really should be talked about more, and the fact that nostalgia usually tends to hit the most when, as you illustrated earlier, things are bad.
Yeah,
When
absolutely.
things are
You
not
fucking hate
going
life.
well, there is a comfort system that starts to go in your head when things are just not looking like the way that you want to look. And I see it all the time with people online. If you go to any YouTube video that relates to nostalgia, and there's millions of them, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, right? There's like millions of videos, billions of videos on YouTube that relate to those decades and things that happened in those decades. If you read the comment sections, they all always usually say the same thing. Oh, take me back. Oh, if I could do it again. Oh, and the best time of my life and all that stuff. And it really made me think. I didn't comment on any of them, but it really made me think. I was like, man, being 11 years old was like the best time of your life. That's crazy that's the
Yeah.
best time of your life. And I know for some people it probably is. But I had a conversation with somebody one time about nostalgia when we were having the conversation, because I've been having this in my head for a few days. That's why we're talking about it on the show, where one person's nostalgia is another person's trauma, which is the other side of it. So, like, for instance, when people say, I had someone say to me once, is, man, if I can go back to 1997 or 1996 or something, man, what a year, what a time. And they start bringing up all this cool stuff that they did and all this stuff. Man, if I could do it over, I would do this. And then I just kept thinking about all these people who, if they could go back to 96, 97, they'd probably end it all, right? Their 96 and 97 wasn't all that great, right? You and I were playing GoldenEye, Wayne Gretzky hockey, pod racing, we were doing all kinds of fun shit. But we had neighbors, we had people we went to school with, they didn't have those things. Not everybody went to Disney World in the late 90s. Not everybody went to, Action Park, and not everybody got a chance to have the big lavish childhood. A lot of people suffered in the 90s. There are people now whose lives are inverted, where now is the best time of their lives because they were adults with money and yes, they have responsibilities, but they have the freedom to do whatever it is they want to do now.
And I'm glad you said that. I wonder if those people experience nostalgia.
If they do, it would probably be something outside of the lines of the pain. So if, for instance,
obviously, I'm not going to fantasize about being hurt again.
Their version of nostalgia is different, right? Like, for instance, how many times have you heard people say, oh man, I hated high school. I don't want to go back to high school ever again. What a horrible time.
Well, I did. I hated high school.
Right. Okay. But there's I would probably guess that there's more people in this country who hated their time during high school than actually liked it. I think you
100%
in the majority of that. I'm not in that group. I enjoyed the hell out of high school. Now, I did a lot of shit in high school I wasn't supposed to do, but I had a fucking blast in high school. If I could do high school over again, I fucking would do it all over again. But that's what I'm talking about. Everybody's nostalgia is different from others, right? Everybody has a different place that they go to in their heads. But my concern when it comes to nostalgia is when the nostalgia becomes your linchpin. That's your North Star, right? So like, as an example, you just gave a great one of when you're at work, you're still doing your thing, you're still working, you're still doing all of your responsibilities, you're still doing everything you're supposed to do, but you got a little bit of nostalgia in your ear.
Oh, I have to. It's like a nicotine patch.
Right.
I gotta have it on me.
Right.
Yeah.
That's you using your nostalgia as a supplement to what you're doing. Right?
Sure.
You could do the job without the music, but the music is what makes the job even better and more doable. And the same with me. When I'm doing when I'm doing my schoolwork, I got a little something on the TV in the background rocking. As of right now, you can't see it because it's paused because we're doing the show. I'm doing my WCW Nitro run right now, baby. We're in early 1996 over here, brother. I've already finished 1995. I'm Sting is rolling right now. Ric Flair just lost the World's Heavyweight Championship to the Macho Man. Yeah, and Hogan's breathing down his neck. The Giants walking around doing shit. Your boy is invested in 1996 again, but that's on in the midst of me doing the stuff that I need to be doing. When I want to come down, when I want to relax, when I want to lower my cortisol, as my wife's been saying to me recently, that's when we do the nostalgia stuff. That's when we go back into that comfort zone. My worry and my concern for people are the people who only exist in that world.
Oh yeah, I told you, I'm like coming out the ass end of that.
Yeah, who can't focus on anything else, who can't do anything else. Every mistake that they make is because of something that happened in the past. Every success that they could have had, if only this would have happened, if only this would have happened. It was you. Yep. You did it. You did this to me. You changed the trajectory of everything. That leads you outside of nostalgia. That leads more into the trauma territory. But nostalgia of those memories that they used to cope with the trauma becomes everything to them.
Yeah.
Everything to them. There's a lot of people to this day, they can't. It's 2025, and I know quite a few people alive today right now that I either work with or just know who still haven't left the 80s. Who still, in their head, 1988 was like a few years ago. I'm like, dude, you're going to be 50. 50.
Bro, some people don't come out of it, man.
I had a hard time, and let me not put it in past tense. I'm 42. I'm about 3 months from being 43, and I'm still having a hard time being in my 40s. But I'm not alone anymore because now the missus is 40, and now because she used to make fun of me. She used to make fun of me when I was 40 and 41. She was 38 and 39. On her 40th birthday, we were looking. Oh,
what's broken?
Happened? Yeah. As soon as that you blow out the candle, that's it. Your back hurts. Everything is messed up. Right? But that's the only reason why I wanted to bring up the topic and bring up the conversation. I worry about the people who make it their whole existence. It doesn't mean nostalgia is great on so many levels, including I think the number one best thing about nostalgia, the number one thing, and you can go with you can go down the line. Everybody has their own picadillos, the decades in terms of the lifestyle and the clothing or the music or the movies, 80s action movies and 90s grunge music or whatever the case. The perfect usage, in my opinion, of nostalgia is when it comes to people. The friends you used to have, the family members you may not have anymore, the friends that you have to this day that you knew back then, that you can say a joke right now to them and they'll laugh and nobody in the room gets it. But in 1999, that shit was the best thing ever. And those are the kind of moments where I think it's like that's the number one usage of nostalgia. I think those are great to keep the society together, to keep community, to keep those relationships good. It can't be everything that you are. That's all that I'm saying to people. Get outside of that. I grew up in the Attitude Era, and now that I'm an adult, now that I'm 42 years old, now that I've seen such a wide scope of what this industry can be, I think it's one of the most overrated eras ever. Not because I think it was bad, I think it was awesome. And I think if you lived during it, oh man, what a fucking era to be alive. What a time to be alive. But overall, looking at it, I really do believe it's one of the most overrated. If for no other reason, just the fandom to it. Because if you talk to like the person I was just talking to, if you talk to him negative about the Attitude Era, it's like that shit never happened. You talk about the Attitude Era, they'll tell you Stone Cold and The Rock, Triple H and Mankind, Taker and Kane. I said, yeah. And then there was Gangrel and Bob Holly. No, 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 no. Yeah, we had Kai and Tai and the Oddities. And they had it had its issues. No one was 100%. Okay, I saw JBL in a Black Hawk, a blackjack outfit, with completely dyed hair, and all the gimmicks were out of control. The Job Squad from the Attitude Era, the Diva, the PMS with they were hot, but outside of that, I would do Terry Reynolds today, let alone in the late 90s. Okay, but every era has their ups, every era has their downs. That golden era, they always tell you that, the Hogans and the Savages, and then there's the gobbledygookers. There's those underneath. Yeah, the new generation: Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Big Daddy Cool, Diesel, Razor Ramon, yeah, and Bastion Booger, and Mantar, and the Goon, who wrestled in bladeless ice skates. Every era has them. there's no era that's 100%.
Bladeless ice skates is crazy.
Yeah, so stop shitting on these kids.
I don't know. I'll say my last comment is I disagree with you. I don't like nostalgia at all. I think nostalgia is toxic. I think nostalgia does nothing but bring people down. And I think the video is worth watching because I think he makes this a point. Doesn't drill it to be, the video doesn't feel negative, but he makes a very strong point to where most of the time that you're feeling nostalgia is because you miss something or you feel sad about your current life. And I think he kind of ends it with, let nostalgia go.
Yeah,
and
he did
experience new things. Like,
live today.
Yeah,
what's
stop
happening
thinking about tomorrow. But again, and that's my point. That's why I love this video so much. Is that I love the video because he really drills that point, and I agree with him. It was terrible. It got to the point where it's like I knew, like, I stopped watching certain things that I used to enjoy because I knew what it was doing. It was like holding me into this one thing, and I couldn't experience anything else. And it really, I would say that I got very lucky because I ended up getting into a situation that gave me things to look forward to, that kind of changed my perspective on life, obviously, right? Like with my family and everything like that now.
Yeah.
But without them, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I see me not fucking doing that shit today. Like, to me, that's what
you would still be in that funk.
Yes, dude. I honestly, without that reason to have that thing to look forward to, I feel I'm still sitting in a dark room playing the same game I played all those years ago, not even enjoying myself anymore, but just doing it because it's what I remember, like you said, the routine and shit.
Yeah.
So, and it's not that I don't try to go back and find, like for instance, I still play video games. If you could see my screen and I lower my browser right now, there's a game pause right behind it. But
yeah,
but it's I still find myself wanting to go back to play those old games. And then when I get on them, I'm like, what am I doing? Like I want to play something else. I want to, there's a bunch of cool new things out. And it may not be the same enjoyment I had when I was 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, playing that game when I had all unlimited time in the world to do it. Let me try to find something else. And I really do feel bad because it's really hard to shake when you don't have much going on. You're just trying to live your day to day, and all you want to do is go to the store, buy a pack of Pokemon cards, and go home while your mom's making you dinner and fucking unpack them and all these shit cards. But it doesn't matter because you don't have to wake up in the morning and go to school, go to work. Cards. Yeah, like I feel so bad, and I don't even take myself out of it. I feel like I still fight that shit today. So I fucking hate nostalgia, and it's predatory. We didn't even get into that. We don't have to. We can move on to the next thing.
Yeah,
But you already know, we've talked about it before, that they use nostalgia in newer movies, video games, stuff like that to get you to rebuy this shit, and it's just terrible. It's not the same. You can't
it's
be
another
15
tactic
anymore. You cannot be 15 again. You just can't. You can't.
It's done. You did it. You did it.
Can't.
I'm just now starting to come around to the 40s thing. I'm enjoying it. What you still have so many milestones left in front of you with your kids, but mine, I'm running out. So
money. He's only 10, dude. Relax.
Yeah, speaking of only being 10, he tried to give me a little beso on the whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't have this when he tried to do it. I was like clean shaven, and he poked me. He's getting little whiskers underneath the goddamn nose. His little mustache is coming in. So I'm like, oh, look at you, whole ass me go fucking fight now. Is that what it is? Want to fucking do that? All right, so